Eamon O'Carroll, you've had a chance now to review the Widnes game with a playing group. How tough of a review, how difficult of a review was that?
Yeah, it was really difficult. Obviously, we're bitterly disappointed in terms of how that game finished, especially after the position we put ourselves in. So again, a big learning curve for us. You know, there was actually some positives in there. I thought, you know, having that bit of grit and determination to kind of get back into the game, you know, after a really poor start, just showed the lads' quality when they trust in what we practice and they go hard at it. So that was really pleasing. And then obviously we've been questioning our start to second halves, and I challenged them at half time to go and get the start right, and I thought that was the best period, or one of the best periods of our game. Unfortunately for us, we dipped in and out of that, and Widnes exploited it. So we were very naive at times, and it hurt us. So it's important that we rectify that quickly.
You mentioned the lack of leadership, game management and smartness in that game. Is that an area you've highlighted or focused on this week?
Yeah, it was the huge focus, you know, just reinforcing it through vision. You know, it was probably the longest review that we've done, because I felt it was important that they saw the good parts as well, and what we could do, and just to magnify the severity of our downfall, really. You know, I thought we'd done enough to get that game done, and for whatever reason I think we probably felt comfortable when we went 7 points up, and that's a dangerous thing to do against a quality outfit like Widnes.
Obviously a tough result to take. What are the overriding lessons that particular experience you feel the side can learn from?
Well, I think it's getting it right from minute one, not having to kind of get back into the rhythm. You know, I had to make some changes to kind of get our game going, and I thought our bench were brilliant in that. You know, Eamon played his first game in a number of weeks, and I thought he was great. He's still got more in him, and he knows that. But I thought he was big for us, and I thought Mitch Suter certainly responded to me putting him on the bench. I thought he came on and he was fantastic and shown some great energy, but what we've highlighted in that is that has to be the norm for us. It's not something that we have to go and chase. That has to be the norm from minute one. And then just a little bit of smarts. You know, I mentioned that after the game in my press. You know, I think we lacked a little bit of smarts and just reading the situation, the scenario that we're in. I thought we almost looked frantic at times when we were 7 points up, and we didn't need to be. I thought we could have played with a little bit of calmness. So big lesson for us.
You've mentioned that adversity a lot in recent interviews. You've never used it as an excuse, but when you have 11 players missing, 8 or 9 of them first team players, in your words, Eamon, how much of an impact is that currently having on results and performances?
Well, it shouldn't, and that's what I said to the team. You know, we have a squad for a reason, and everyone's knocking on my door, desperate to play. You know, and questioning why they're not, which is great. That's what I want. And people that got an opportunity at weekend, and you know, it wasn't down to individuals; it was a collective. So look, yeah, every team is going through that at the minute, and like I said, I will never use it as an excuse, because probably 68 minutes in, we got the game done. It was down to us. We went away from what had been working for us, and we were really ill disciplined, and that gave Widnes territory. And when you do that, they're dangerous. So again, you know, I think, you know, we talk about the team we want to be, and we've dropped 4 points over the last 2 weeks. So you know, I speak about it being a learning curve. It's all right talking about it, but now we need to back it up with our action.
Back-to-back defeats, obviously, after the performances against York and Widnes. How important is it to you that the side responds, in your eyes, to those setbacks with a strong showing at Swinton on Sunday?
Yeah, really important. I think, you know, it was clear after the game, and certainly Tuesday when I came in, you know, the lads are hurting, and they should be. We all are. But what good teams do is learn from it and move on very quickly, and that's why I'm looking forward to training tonight. You know, it's our first session back together after, you know, a tough Tuesday in reviewing it. I'm sure the lads will respond, not just on Sunday, but it's how we respond tonight, how we practice, how we turn up, our attitude towards training. And you know, I've got the utmost confidence in them that they'll go and do that. They're a great group. I say it all the time. They're a great group. We've lost 2 games, you know, and you know, other teams will go through that. The best teams respond in the best manner, and that's what I'm hoping from my group.
You mentioned after that game against Widnes there were doubts to Joe Arundel and Harvey Wilson. What's the latest with Joe and Harvey?
Yeah, Joe won't play. He's still ill. So we've kept him away from training. We've kept a couple of them away on Tuesday as well. But we've come through that now, which is good. So we'll get them boys back, but we'll still keep Joe away. He's struggling a little bit, so he'll see the doctor. Harvey went back to Wigan to get checked through, and yeah, he's okay. He toughed it out for us, Harvey, so fair play to him.
Is Harvey still back now at Brentford?
Yeah.
Has any of the other adversity weakened? Is there any players back this weekend?
Yeah, we're hopeful. So Zach Fulton is good to go after his HIA, so that's positive. And then Michael Lawrence is looking like he'll feature at weekend. Obviously, we've got our two biggest days ahead of us, so we'll have to see how people come through that. There's a couple of question marks on some other boys as well, but one thing we need is everyone at 100% to get the job done on Sunday against a quality Swinton team. So I won't be risking anyone who's not up to it.
There's a lot of sort of leadership experience currently out on the sidelines injured, Eamon. What's been the message to those young players, having to stand in during this testing period? Because I think I worked it out, the average age for that game against Widnes was 23 years and 6 months, a very young Bradford side.
Yeah, opportunity. Be excited about it. They don't have to go and do anything out of the ordinary. It was just important that everyone knew their role and did their job, which again we did for periods, but we dipped in and out of it. So, look, the average age that doesn't scare me at all. Like there's internationals playing in Super League that are as young as that or even younger. So. For me, that's exciting. I was excited about the team because I thought it was youthful and had energy, and that was one thing we were going to need against Widnes. So lads will keep getting their opportunities, but it's important that when they do it for 80 minutes. It
is Swinton on Sunday. They've won the last two. They'll be confident of claiming another big championship scalp, as I'm sure you've already ascertained. They've gone to Toulouse and had a big shock win there, and then they went to the Shea and beat Halifax on Sunday gone.
Yeah, I think it's a shock for most, but not for me when I'm watching them play. And obviously we played them once before, and that was an 80-minute game. They're highly competitive. They've got some good experience in there, and they look like a close group as well. So we're going to have to be at our best at weekend. They're a dangerous team, as are most in the championship, and we just need to make sure that we focus on ourselves. Not so much Swinton. Clearly we've got some things we want to be better at and that we need to be better at. So that's our focus this week. They've
got a number of threats. Geordie Gibson, Deck Patton in the halves. I think they've got a number of players on loan. T. Ritson from St Helens. There's a lot of threats there that are obviously going to keep you occupied on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely, and it probably suits us in terms of how we want to respond. I think their backfield, there's some real striking, is very dangerous. So our last players and how we kick chase is going to be really important to us, and very similar to Widnes. I think that the things that came out of the Widnes game in terms of the territory and that change now, I think it's really important for how we want to play. So we've got to make sure that we earn the right to get some opportunities, and to do that we're going to have to be extremely disciplined in our game and our performance. So that'll be a big theme for us this week.
Does it help the mental focus of the side that you played Swinton in early March, and that was a game that effectively went down to the wire? I think it was Kieran Gill's try 3 or 4 minutes from full time that sealed the win. Does that kind of help reaffirm what you're going to be facing on Sunday?
Yeah, well, I've given the group some reminders on that. I've had a look at that game because I knew how tight it was. So and I think that complemented with the last couple of games that they've played. They've been very good and they compete for the full 80 minutes as well. So we've had a little bit of a reminder on that. But again, solely focusing on us.
Haywood Road, Eamon, second biggest pitch in the championship after Toulouse. It's going to be a different kind of game to the one that was played at Odsal.
I don't know. I think it will be as fierce as it was. The pitch won't have any bearing on that. We won't change the way we play. I think we've got to keep focusing on what we want to do better, and that has nothing to do with the parameter of the field or anything like that. We want to go and respond. We're very disappointed. Regardless of where we have to play, if that's on as the car park, that's on as the car park. We want to go and perform to our best. So yeah, our attitude isn't about if we're playing at Odsal or we're playing away. It's just the fact that we can't wait for Sunday now to go and put things right.
You mentioned Michael Lawrence could be back playing Sunday. Obviously, that leadership and experience, that could be vital.
Yeah, and he shows that in our reviews and our previews. You get out of him what you want from a captain. He speaks when he needs to, but he backs it up with his actions as well. So having him back is going to be huge for us. But and I mean, with all respect, we can't just rely on Bruno because of his experience and his quality. Other people have to stand up in the group, and I have to take a lead on that, and the lads have to see me leading by example as well. So it'll be great to have him back if he's back. Obviously, we're missing a couple. I think Dan Smith as well. He's been big for us in JD. So we've got a couple couple of people that are missing, but they're not missing because they're here with us every day and they're in our meetings and they help us prepare in our practice. So obviously there comes a point where the players have to take all that information and that leadership on board, and then it's over to them.
Reserve squad's been named. Jordan Baldwinson gets his first start of the season. That's a plus point, a positive.
Yeah, really happy for him. What a great guy, Baldy, and God, he's worked extremely hard. Like, he looks fit, he looks strong, he's ready to go. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him go tonight. It's a big thing when you've been out with an injury like that for such a long time. Baldy was actually one of the first players that I spoke to when I was coming over here. You know, I knew through speaking to people just how important he was and how well liked he was around the club. So it was important that we kept him and supported him, you know, through that tough period. And you know, Jason and the board were fully on board with that as well. So he's worked extremely hard. You know, he's probably back a little bit later than what he would have liked, but that's behind him now, and I know he'll go out and do a great job.
Is it a simple case of get through this game against Huddersfield at Odsall and you're potentially back in first team selection for that game against Wakefield next week?
Yeah, potentially, yeah. I think, you know, it's really important that there's not a lot of pressure on Baldy. He's been out for, I think it's 11 months now since he last played, and I've been through that situation myself as a player a number of times. And you know, sometimes you come back and you feel better than when you first went out, but sometimes you have an element of rustiness about you. And one thing that he has done is worked extremely hard and been diligent in everything that he's done. So he's put himself in a great position now to go out and perform at his best. And you know, if his performances, you know, look like anything what he's training like, he'll be back in the mix soon.
Have you watched any of Mackenzie Sker's performances at Hunslet? Apparently he got loads of plaudits and praise for his performance on Sunday.
No, I've not actually seen his game, so you know, I need to have a chat with him. But I've been in dialogue with his coach, and they've been really impressed with him, so that's good. It's important that Mackenzie goes out and gets some game time. We get to bring Will Adams back this week, and he'll play in our reserves, which is really good. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. But I think it's great experience for those lads to go out and, you know, get some League One experience, and you know, they'll certainly be better for it.
We didn't touch on this last week, but how's the recruitment going? Is it still ongoing, Eamon? Is the club close to potentially bringing new faces in?
Yeah, it's, as every interview we do, Mick, yeah, it's still ongoing. We're having conversations daily with people, but again, it's about bringing in the right people. I don't want to just be reactive now because we've got a number of people out and try and bring in people. It's about long term as well. It's about, not just about now, it's about you know, next year and the year after, and what our squad looks like, and how can we be more competitive. So you know, I imagine it will accelerate a little bit now over the next couple of months, as it will for most clubs. But yeah, it's still an ongoing process.
And just finally from me, and 6 games in, this will be game number 7 for you in the Championship. What do you make of the Championship in 2024? It seems almost on a weekly basis there's a shot result here, a shot result there. Genuinely feels like anybody can beat anyone.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think, you know, when I'm watching games and I see the results, I certainly think that's the case, but that's the challenge. You've got to be on. You've got to be on every week. You know, you can't take any sort of game for granted. You've got to be at your best, and we've learned that. We did it for a number of games and came out on the wrong side, and we've also learned the other side of it, where you're not quite at your best for 80 minutes. You'll come out on the wrong side of a result as well. So I think it's great for the competition. That's what we want. We want a real strong competition, and I think it's playing out like that.